As the lawyer's voice echoed through the sterile conference room, reading out the will with mechanical precision, Lux felt the world tilt. To my son, Luxander Hargrove, I leave the sum of $1, in recognition of his choices that have disappointed me beyond repair. The room fell silent, eyes darting to Lux, who sat frozen, his boyfriend Jake's hand gripping his under the table, a silent anchor in the storm of betrayal from beyond the grave. Lux had always known his father, Reginald Hargrove, was a man of unyielding principles, forged in the steel mills of Pittsburgh before he built his real estate empire in New York City. But this was a knife twisted deep. Growing up in the shadow of Hargrove Tower, Lux had learned early that love in his family came with conditions. Reginald's world was black and white. Success meant marriage, kids, legacy. Anything else was failure. Lux came out at 22, during a tense Thanksgiving dinner in their Upper East Side penthouse. "You're no son of mine if that's the path you choose," Reginald had thundered, his face reddening like the autumn leaves outside. Lux's mother, Eleanor, had wept quietly, caught between her husband's rage and her son's pain. From that day, the rift widened. Calls went unanswered, holidays were skipped, and Lux built his life in Brooklyn, far from the gilded cage. Jake entered Lux's world 2 years later, at a gallery opening in Williamsburg. Jake was an artist, his hands stained with paint, his eyes holding a quiet fire that drew Lux in. Their first date was coffee turned into a midnight walk along the East River, sharing stories of fractured families. Jake's parents had disowned him too, after he brought home his high school boyfriend. "We survive," Jake had said, lacing their fingers. "We build our own families." Lux fell hard, finding in Jake a mirror to his wounds and a balm for them. But Reginald's shadow loomed. When Lux mentioned Jake in a rare email, Reginald replied curtly, "Don't bring your lifestyle into my home." The word lifestyle stung like a slap, reducing their love to a choice, not a truth. Now, at 28, Lux stared at the will, the single dollar mocking him. The rest of the estate, millions in properties, stocks, charities, went to his sister Lydia and various foundations. Lydia, ever the peacemaker, reached across the table. "Lux, this can't be right. Dad must have been, I don't know, angry when he wrote it." But Lux pulled away, his chest tight. "He was always angry, LYD. At me." Jake squeezed his hand harder, whispering, "We don't need his money. We have each other." But it wasn't about the money. It was the final rejection, etched in legal ink. The funeral was set for the next day, at St. Patrick's Cathedral, a grand affair befitting Reginald's status. Lux debated not going, but Jake convinced him. "Closure, babe. You deserve to say goodbye on your terms." As they dressed in their black suits, Lux's phone buzzed. A text from the lawyer. "There's a video message from your father, to be played at the service." Lux's stomach dropped. What more could Reginald say? Another lecture from the grave? The cathedral was packed. Business tycoons, politicians, distant relatives. Eleanor sat in the front pew, veiled and stoic, Lydia beside her. Lux and Jake slipped in the back, avoiding stares. The service droned on, eulogies praising Reginald's vision, his philanthropy. Then the priest announced, Mr. Hargrove left a personal video for his family and friends. The screen flickered to life, and there was Reginald, looking frail in his study, oxygen tubes in his nose. Cancer had ravaged him in the end, a secret he'd kept until too late. "My dear family," Reginald began, his voice raspy but firm. "If you're watching this, I'm gone. I've lived a life of building empires, but I failed at the most important one. My family." The congregation shifted, murmurs rippling. Lux leaned forward, heart pounding. "Eleanor, you were my rock. Lydia, my pride. And Lux." Reginald paused, eyes glistening. "Son, I was wrong. So damn wrong." Gasps echoed. Lux gripped Jake's arm, disbelief washing over him. Reginald continued, "When you told me who you are, I saw it as a betrayal. Of me, of our name. But it was fear. Fear of a world I didn't understand. Fear of losing you to it. I pushed you away, thinking toughness would fix it. Didn't. It broke us. He coughed, steadying himself. I've watched from afar. Your art shows, Jake, your life together. You're happy, Lux. Truly happy. And I envy that. I never had the courage to live my truth. The room froze. What truth? Reginald's voice cracked. In the 60s, I loved a man. His name was Thomas. We met in college, shared dreams. But society, my father, I chose the safe path. Married your mother, built the life expected. Thomas died alone, and I carried that regret every day. Tears streamed down Eleanor's face. Lydia covered her mouth. Lux felt the world shatter anew. Not from hate, but from hidden pain. Lux, that $1? It's a symbol of the single regret I couldn't erase. But I'm leaving you everything else in a trust, accessible now. Use it to live freely, something I never did. The video ended, silence blanketing the cathedral like snow. Whispers erupted as people processed. Was this redemption? Manipulation? Lux stood, legs shaky, Jake supporting him. Eleanor approached, hugging him fiercely. He loved you, Lux. In his way. But doubts swirled. Why hide it all these years? Why the cruel will as a setup? As they left, sunlight streaming through stained glass, Lux turned to Jake. Do you think he meant it? Jake kissed his forehead. Does it matter? We're free now. But the questions lingered, sparking debates among guests. Was Reginald's confession genuine, or a final control? The days after the funeral blurred into a haze of legal meetings and media frenzy. Tabloids splashed headlines. Billionaire's gay secret shocks heirs. Paparazzi camped outside Lux's Brooklyn loft, shouting questions about his father's double life. Lux unplugged, curling into Jake on their worn couch. The city hummed a distant roar. Why didn't he tell me sooner? Lux murmured, tracing patterns on Jake's shirt. All those years of silence. And now this bombshell from the grave. Jake held him closer. Maybe he couldn't face it alive. Shame's a heavy chain. Eleanor called daily, her voice fragile over the line. Lux, come to the penthouse. We need to talk. Reluctantly, Lux agreed, Jake insisting on coming. The elevator ride up felt eternal, memories flashing. Childhood Christmases, Reginald's stern approvals. Eleanor greeted them at the door, eyes red-rimmed but warm. Jake, welcome. Truly. She led them to the study, where Reginald's desk loomed like a throne. Papers scattered. The revised will, confirming the trust. Tens of millions for Lux. I knew about Thomas, Eleanor confessed, pouring tea with trembling hands. Reg met him before me. They were close. But in those days it was impossible. Scandal, ruin. Lux's jaw tightened. So you married a man who loved someone else? Eleanor sighed. We built a life. Love grew in its way. But Reg never forgave himself. When you came out, it reopened wounds. He saw his own cowardice in your bravery. Jake interjected gently. Did he ever try to reach out to Thomas? Eleanor shook her head. Thomas married too, had kids. Died in '95. Heart attack. Reg went to the funeral anonymously. The revelation hit Lux like a wave. His father, the unyielding patriarch, had been trapped in a closet of his own making. Anger mixed with pity. Why the $1 then? To humiliate me one last time. Eleanor placed a hand on his. It was his twisted way of forcing the truth out. He knew the video would follow. Reg was dramatic to the end. Lydia arrived then, hugging Lux tightly. I'm splitting my share with you. This family's messed up enough. But Lux waved her off. Keep it. I don't want pity money. Back home, tensions simmered. Jake's art suffered. Commissions dried up amid the scandal. People think we're cashing in on tragedy. He vented one night, pacing the studio. Lux pulled him down. We're not. This is our life, not a headline. Their kiss deepened, a reaffirmation amid chaos. But doubts crept in. Friends whispered. Was Reginald's story real, or a ploy to salvage his legacy? Lux dug into old photos, finding a faded snapshot in Reginald's effects. Two young men, arms linked, smiling at a campus lake. Reginald and Thomas, frozen in joy. Society's reactions fueled the fire. Conservative outlets decried it as revisionist history, while LGBTQ+ groups hailed Reginald as a cautionary tale. Lux received invites to podcasts, rallies. Share your story, one email urged. Jake cautioned, don't let them use you. But Lux felt a pull to honor the pain, expose the hypocrisy. He agreed to an interview on a national network, Jake by his side. The studio lights blazed as the host leaned in. Lux, your father's video shocking. Do you forgive him? Lux paused, voice steady. Forgiveness isn't simple. He hurt me, hid himself. But understanding? Yeah, I'm getting there. Jake added, it's about breaking cycles. Reg couldn't, but we can. The segment went viral, sparking online debates. Hargrove hypocrisy trending. Supporters praised their resilience. Detractors accused exploitation. Amid the noise, Lux and Jake's relationship strained. Late nights, Lux scrolled comments, absorbing vitriol. You're just like your dad. Faking it for attention. Jake snapped one evening. Enough. This is destroying us. Lux recoiled. Us? This is my family mess. Jake's eyes softened. Our mess now. I love you, but I won't watch you drown in it. They argued, voices rising, old insecurities surfacing. Jake stormed out, slamming the door. Alone, Lux crumpled, realizing the inheritance wasn't just money. It was a Pandora's box of unresolved grief. Hours later, Jake returned, rain-soaked. I'm sorry. I can't lose you too. They held each other, whispering promises. But the cracks showed. Eleanor invited them to a family retreat in the Hamptons, hoping to heal. One weekend, she pleaded. Lux agreed, sensing a turning point. As they drove east, the city fading, Lux wondered if bridges could mend or if some rifts ran too deep. The beach house overlooked crashing waves, a stark contrast to their turmoil. Lydia brought her fiancé, Mark, a steady lawyer type. Dinners were awkward at first, silences heavy. Then, over wine, stories flowed. Eleanor shared letters from Thomas, hidden in Reginald's safe. They dreamed of a life together, but fear won. Lux read them aloud, voice breaking. Passionate words, forbidden love. It's like reading my own heart, he admitted. Jake opened up too. My folks cut me off at 18, said pray it away. Mark, surprisingly, shared his brother's coming-out struggles. Bonds formed, tentative but real, yet undercurrents pulled. A neighbor's snide remark at a local event. Hargrove's gay heir cashing in, ignited Lux's fury. Mind your business, he shot back. Jake pulled him away, but the damage lingered. That night, storm raging outside, Lux and Jake lay awake. What if this changes everything? Lux whispered. Jake turned to him. It already has. For better. But as thunder cracked, Lux felt the high tide of drama approaching. Secrets yet to surface. The Hamptons weekend stretched into a fragile truce, but cracks widened when an unexpected guest arrived. Reginald's old college friend, Harold, who claimed to know the full story of Thomas. Harold, a retired professor with silver hair and sharp eyes, showed up uninvited, bearing a box of memorabilia. Reg asked me to deliver this after. Eleanor welcomed him warily, sensing volatility. Over lunch on the sun-drenched patio, Harold unfolded tales that reshaped everything. Thomas and Reg were inseparable, Harold began, voice gravelly from years of lectures. But in '62, Reg's father found out. Threatened disinheritance, scandal. Reg chose family money over love. Lux's fork clattered. So he abandoned Thomas? Harold nodded. Thomas was devastated. Moved to California, tried to forget. But letters continued secretly. He produced faded envelopes, postmarked decades ago. Jake read one silently, passing it to Lux. I miss you every day, but I understand. Be happy. Reginald's reply, I can't. This life is a cage. The group absorbed it in stunned quiet. Lydia asked, Why now, Harold? He sighed. Reg confessed before dying. Wanted Lux to know he saw his own story in yours. Hoped it'd free you from bitterness. But Lux felt manipulated. Free me? By lying all my life. Harold's eyes met his. Not lying. Surviving. Times were different. Stonewall hadn't happened yet. Jake squeezed Lux's knee under the table, a reminder of their own battles. As afternoon faded, tensions escalated. Mark, ever the skeptic, questioned Harold's motives. Any proof these letters are real? Harold bristled. I've no reason to lie. The argument heated, voices overlapping like waves. Eleanor intervened. Enough! This is healing, not interrogation. But seeds of doubt sprouted. That evening, Lux and Jake walked the beach, sand cool underfoot. Do you believe him? Lux asked. Jake shrugged. Does it change us? We're here together. Lux stopped, pulling Jake close. Yeah, we are. Back in New York, the trust fund activated. Lux stared at the bank statement, zeros blurring. What do we do with this? He asked Jake over breakfast. Jake grinned. Something good. Fund LGBTQ plus arts programs? Start a foundation. Ideas sparked, but so did conflicts. Friends advised caution. Some envied. One night at a bar, an old acquaintance sneered. Lucky you, profiting off daddy's closet. Lux's fist clenched, but Jake diffused. Ignore them. Envy talks loud. Society's microscope intensified. A conservative talk show host ranted, Hargrove's confession is woke propaganda. Protests formed outside Hargrove Tower. Clashing signs, love is love versus family values first. Lux received threats online, anonymous hate mail. Jake worried, installing extra locks. This is getting dangerous. Lux downplayed it. Just noise. But fear not. Eleanor suggested therapy for the family. We all carry scars. Sessions in a midtown office unearthed layers. Lux vented rage. He could have changed. Apologized alive. Lydia defended. He tried in his way. Eleanor revealed her own pain. I loved a ghost. Jake attended too, sharing his abandonment. Breakthroughs came slowly, tears flowing freely. Yet romance strained under pressure. Jake's gallery show loomed, but distractions mounted. I need space to create, he said one morning, frustration evident. Lux nodded, but loneliness crept in. He volunteered at a queer youth center, mentoring kids like his younger self. One teen, Miguel, shared, My dad's like yours. Won't accept me. Lux advised, Live your truth. It'll hurt, but freedom's worth it. Echoes of Reginald's regret fueled him. A bombshell dropped via email. A journalist uncovered Thomas's son, Victor, living in L.A. Victor wanted to meet. My father spoke of Reginald often, the message read. Lux hesitated, but curiosity won. He flew west with Jake, the plane ride tense. What if it's a setup? Jake fretted. Lux kissed his hand. We face it together. Victor greeted them at a cozy cafe. Resemblance to the old photo uncanny. Dad never hated Reg, understood the times. He shared stories. Thomas's quiet life, his advocacy in later years. He came out in the 80s, helped AIDS patients. Lux's eyes widened. While my father hid. Victor nodded. Reg sent anonymous donations. Helped fund Dad's work. Proof emerged, checks, letters. Reginald's secret support. A hidden redemption. Emotions surged. Why not tell us? Lux choked. Victor shrugged. Pride? Fear. Jake held Lux as tears fell. Back in the hotel, they talked till dawn. Your dad wasn't all monster, Jake said. Lux agreed, a weight lifting. But returning home, media twisted it. Hargrove heir meets secret love child? Lies spread, fueling backlash. At Jake's show opening, chaos erupted. Protesters picketed outside, chanting slurs. Inside, whispers followed Lux. A confrontation boiled. A heckler yelled, faking gay for fame. Jake defended fiercely, back off. Security escorted the man out, but the night soured. In the aftermath, Lux and Jake argued. "This fame is toxic," Jake said. Lux countered, "It's visibility. For kids like Miguel." Exhaustion peaked. They slept apart for the first time. Morning brought reflection. Lux found Jake painting strokes angry. "I love you, but this whirlwind, it's changing you." Lux knelt. "No, it's revealing us. Stronger." They reconciled, passion reigniting their bond. But as high-profile invites poured in, galas, speeches, Lux sensed a crossroads. Accept the spotlight or retreat to normalcy. The decision loomed, drama cresting like a wave about to break. The spotlight's glare intensified as Lux accepted a speaking slot at a major LGBTQ+ conference in Washington, D.C. Jake accompanied. Supportive yet wary. "Just be you," he advised on the train ride south. The event buzzed with activists, politicians, survivors. Lux's panel, Legacy of Hidden Lives. He shared Reginald's story, voice steady amid flashes. "My father's silence cost him everything. Don't let fear win." Applause thundered, but Q&A turned contentious. A young attendee challenged, "Easy for you to say with millions now." Lux paused. "Money doesn't erase pain. It amplifies responsibility." Backstage, a senator approached. Powerful words. "Join our advocacy board." Jake whispered caution, but Lux felt empowered. Returning to New York, opportunities flooded. Book deals, documentaries. "This could change lives," Lux enthused. Jake nodded, but his art stalled, resentment brewing. "When's our time?" he asked one night, dinner cold. Lux promised. Soon, but soon stretched. Family dynamics shifted too. Eleanor dated again. A kind widower, surprising everyone. "Life's too short," she said at a brunch. Lydia's wedding planning included Lux and Jake prominently. "Best men," she insisted. Rehearsals brought laughter, mending bonds. Yet undercurrents persisted. Mark confided doubts. Reg's video staged? Lux dismissed, but seeds took root. A crisis hit when hackers leaked private emails from Reginald's firm, exposing donations to anti-gay groups in the 90s. Headlines screamed, "Hypocrite Hargrove funded hate." Lux reeled, confronting Eleanor. "Did you know?" She admitted. "He stopped after your coming out." Guilt ate him, but damage raged. Protests targeted the trust fund. Donors pulled from Lux's new foundation. Online, trolls doxed Jake, forcing them to move temporarily. In a safe house upstate, isolation forced confrontation. "This is too much," Jake admitted, staring at the woods. Lux agreed. "Maybe I should have stayed quiet." But Jake shook his head. "No. Your voice matters. Just include me." They reconnected, walks turning to deep talks. Lux proposed scaling back. "Focus on us first." Jake smiled, relief evident. Victor visited, bringing closure. Dad forgave Reg. "You should too." Over dinner, stories bridged generations. Victor revealed Thomas's diary. Entries praising Reginald's secret support. He called him "my quiet hero." Lux wept, forgiveness budding. Back in the city, Lux held a press conference. "My father's contradictions don't define me. We'll use the inheritance for good scholarships, shelters." Response mixed. Praise from allies, scorn from skeptics. Personal trials peaked when Jake's estranged mother reached out, inspired by the story. "I saw your interview. I'm sorry." A tearful reunion in a park, Lux watching proudly. "Change happens," Jake said later, hopeful. But Lux's health faltered, stress-induced migraines, sleepless nights. Therapy intensified. "You're carrying his ghosts," the counselor noted. Lux worked through it, Jake his rock. As Lydia's wedding approached, drama swirled. A tabloid alleged Reginald had more secrets. Another affair? Harold debunked it as fabrication, but trust frayed. At the rehearsal dinner, toasts turned tense. Mark raised a glass. "To family, flawed but fighting." Lux added, "To truths, however late." Eleanor pulled him aside. "I'm proud of you. Reg would be too. The wedding day dawned bright, Central Park blooming. Lux walked Lydia down the aisle, Jake beaming from the front. Vows exchanged, joy palpable. But during reception, a distant relative cornered Lux. Your lifestyle dishonors Reg. Jake intervened sharply. Love isn't dishonor. The man backed off, but the incident stung. Post-wedding, Lux and Jake escaped to a cabin in the Adirondacks. No phones, just nature. Remember our first date? Lux asked by the fire. Jake nodded. River walk. Felt like home. They planned futures. Adoption, art collectives. With or without the money, Jake said. Lux agreed, peace settling. Yet society pushed back. A lawsuit from a conservative group challenged the trust, claiming moral turpitude. Lawyers battled. Lux testified. My father's will is clear. His regret, real. The case dragged, media circus ensuing. Friends rallied, but exhaustion mounted. One night, Lux broke. What if we lose everything? Jake held him. We have each other. That's everything. The verdict favored Lux, but victory felt hollow. Public opinion split. Polls showed rising support for LGBTQ+ rights, yet backlash persisted. Lux authored an op-ed, My Father's Legacy, Pain to Progress. It resonated, sparking dialogues nationwide. As autumn leaves fell, Lux and Jake hosted a quiet anniversary dinner, toasts to survival. But questions lingered. Had Reginald's video truly redeemed him, or merely shifted blame? Lux pondered, growth evident. The high of resolution beckoned, but one final twist awaited. Resolution came not in grand gestures, but quiet moments. With the lawsuit dismissed, Lux channeled the trust into Hargrove Horizons, a foundation aiding queer youth from conservative families. Launch event at a Brooklyn community center drew crowds. Donors, activists, even Victor. Jake's murals adorned walls, vibrant symbols of hope. This is our legacy, Lux told the audience, voice thick. Applause echoed, but skeptics lingered outside, signs decrying agenda pushing. Home life stabilized. Lux and Jake adopted a rescue dog, Max, whose playful energy lightened days. Mornings, coffee, walks, talks of expanding their family. Kids, Jake mused. Lux smiled. Someday, therapy continued, unpacking layers. Lux dreamed of Reginald, not angry, but sad. I'm sorry, the dream father said. Waking, Lux whispered, I know. Family reunions became regular. Eleanor thrived with her partner, sharing holidays without tension. Lydia announced pregnancy. Lux uncle-to-be, excitement bubbling. Name him after Dad? She joked. Lux laughed. Maybe Thomas. Bonds strengthened. Forgiveness a slow bloom. Yet, society's conflicts persisted. A bill in Congress threatened LGBTQ+ rights. Lux lobbied, testifying before committees. My father's hidden life shows the cost of hate. Jake supported from afar, painting protest art. Victories came, the bill stalled. But defeats too. A school banned queer books, echoing old fears. Personal growth deepened. Lux mentored Miguel, watching him thrive. You gave me hope, the teen said at graduation. Jake's career soared. A solo exhibit sold out. Your story inspired this, he told Lux, unveiling a portrait. Two men, hands clasped, against a stormy sky breaking to sun. One evening, sorting Reginald's old files, Lux found a final letter, addressed to him, undated. Son, if you're reading this, I failed to say it alive. I love you, always have. Be brave where I wasn't. Tears fell. Lux showed Jake. He did care. Jake nodded. In his broken way. As years blurred, foundation growing, life settling, debates raged online. Reginald's story, myth or milestone? Lux avoided focusing forward. But at a quiet dinner with friends, talk turned. Was your dad's confession redemption? One asked. Lux pondered. It was a start. For him, for us. The end came full circle at Reginald's grave, on the anniversary. Lux and Jake stood hand in hand, wind whispering. "Thanks, Dad." For the truth, however messy. Flowers placed, they walked away stronger. But was Reginald's final message a genuine act of atonement, or merely a calculated move to preserve his image in death? The Foundation's impact rippled outward. Stories poured in. A trans teen escaping abuse, funded by scholarships. A rural support group, seeded by grants. Lux traveled, speaking at colleges, sharing without sensationalism. Pain shapes us, but love remakes us. Jake joined sometimes, his presence a grounding force. "We're a team," he'd say, squeezing Lux's hand backstage. Challenges arose. A board member resigned over political directions. Lux held firm. "This is about lives, not politics." Media scrutiny waned, but occasional flares. A documentary proposal, which they accepted cautiously. Filming unearthed more. Interviews with Harold, Victor, even Thomas's old friends. Narratives wove a tapestry of regret and resilience. Romantically, Lux and Jake evolved. A weekend getaway to Provincetown, where they renewed vows informally on the beach. "Forever," Lux whispered. Jake echoed, eyes shining. Back home, discussions of surrogacy began, cautious steps toward parenthood. Eleanor's memoir hit shelves, Shadows of Silence. Humanized Reginald, sparking book clubs and debates. Lux contributed a foreword. "Forgiveness is a choice," daily. Sales benefited the Foundation, closing circles. As time passed, Lux reflected on the $1 will's irony. Sparked everything: exposure, healing, change. Without it, perhaps stagnation. Jake agreed. Fate's funny. In the end, life's drama softened to steady rhythm. But the question endures, inviting reflection. Was the father's video a true redemption, or just a manipulative ploy?